Join us on a video adventure as we travel along the expanse of the Amazon and down the coast of Brazil. Along the way, we will cruise the Amazon and Rio Negro and stop at Santarém, Manaus, Boca de Valeria, Alto do Chao, Fortaleza, Recife, Salvador, and glamorous Rio de Janeiro. Our journey begins as we leave Atlantic waters and glide upriver along the Amazon. The very name Amazon evokes primitive, exotic, and adventuresome images. The river and its tributaries provide 20% of all river water entering the Earth's oceans. At its mouth, which is 100 miles wide, the flow of water is so powerful that it turns the ocean fresh for almost 200 miles offshore. Although the Amazon, at 4,087 miles long, is 20 miles shorter than the Nile, it drains more than twice as much water. Much attention has been focused recently on the wholesale destruction of the Brazilian rainforest. The concern is well-founded, as the Amazon basin is the densest rainforest on Earth and is our largest source of oxygen. A greater variety of plants and animals exist here than anywhere else in the world. Ships are dwarfed by the expanse of this extraordinary river, whose depth ranges from 66 to 656 feet, and whose width averages 5 miles. 538 nautical miles upriver is the city of Santarém. It's located midway between Belém and Manaus. Founded in 1661 by explorers, it's now the jumping-off point for prospectors mining for gold and bauxite. A blend of ancient and modern cultures is found in Santarém, third largest town on the Brazilian Amazon. The city grew rapidly in the early part of the century when Henry Ford established a rubber plantation nearby. Santarém is the center of the Tapajos Indian culture. The Tapajos are considered the greatest of the ancient Amazon civilizations. Among other achievements, they built a trans-Amazon highway. An active waterfront area and busy Main Street reflect the bustle of modern living, while a traditional marketplace and vintage transportation remind you of a rich history. Hammocks were one of the New World discoveries carried back to Europe by early explorers. In Santarém, you can visit a hammock factory and have many opportunities to buy an example of these comfortable handicrafts. Locals use them everywhere, especially on their boats, where space is at a premium. At dockside, there's always one more chance to shop before returning to the broad expanse of the Amazon. Manaus is the capital of the state of Amazonas and lies on the Rio Negro, 12 miles above its junction with the Amazon. The city is 930 nautical miles from the mouth of the Amazon. It's a sophisticated city with a dash of jungle excitement thrown in at every turn. The 20th century has seen Manaus grow from a small river anchorage to a busy port with air and sea connections worldwide. The Opera House is one of the city's most famous landmarks. Manaus also has an extensive botanical garden, zoo, lovely churches, and a fascinating museum. Here you can learn more about the Manaus Indian culture, for which the city is named. But for a more exciting look at the culture and its surroundings, you can leave the museum and venture up the Rio Negro. Your excursion up this northern tributary of the Amazon provides a close look at the people, plants, and animals of the region. The Rio Negro is aptly named for its dark waters. Your vessel makes stops along the way to allow you to disembark and explore on shore. While passengers examine the local sights, the locals take advantage of the visiting boat. The Indians of the Amazon basin are proud yet friendly people. They seem as interested in the passing stream of visitors as the visitors are of them. On the Rio Negro, you'll see shipping traffic, as the river is navigable for small craft. At a second stop, the flora and fauna become more exotic, and to experience the jungle even more closely, passengers transfer to small skiffs. The waterways narrow, and the jungle envelops you in an expanse of green. Now's the time to keep eyes and ears open for interesting jungle inhabitants.
Oh, I could have got that. Get that? No.
As you return to the modern environs of Manaus, this trip up the Rio Negro leaves you with a sense of adventure and wonder at the natural extravagance of the Amazon basin. The river has breathtaking vistas around every bend. A stroll on deck provides endless views of the powerful and beautiful Amazon. Arriving in Boca de Valeria, you experience the haunting beauty of a coastal village surrounded by the Amazon jungle. The scene is exceptional as natives in their canoe come to greet your ship. To explore more closely, you can walk through the small village and see what life is like for the Indians of the Amazon basin. Friendly curiosity exists on both sides of the cultural scene. Passengers are allowed to roam freely throughout the village and observe everything from the local schoolhouse to a typical kitchen. An excellent way to get a close-up view of Boca de Valeria is in a native canoe. You see how reliant the village is on the waterways called igarapes. Fishing and hunting crocodiles are important parts of village activity. Buying souvenirs in Boca is a highlight of the visit, and shopping has never been like this. No one seems able to resist the unique handicrafts. This quiet village provides a fascinating look at the Indian culture in the Amazon basin. Mention the Amazon, and beaches are probably not the first thing which pop to mind. But here at Alto do Chao, passengers come ashore to enjoy a beautiful beach with a party atmosphere. The verdict seems to be, come on in, the water's fine. The Amazon provides many surprises, one of them being this lovely stretch of sandy beach. From the Indian cultures of Amazonas, we journey to the coastal states of northeastern Brazil. Fortaleza is the capital of the state of Ceará. One of the first places many visitors wind up is in jail, which has been converted into the tourist center. There's a museum, cafe, and shopping area, all within easy reach of the harbor.
Brazil.
If a more authentic shopping experience is in order, then the Central Market awaits exploration. Here, along with abundant produce, are found handicrafts, including hammocks, for which Fortaleza is famous. Opposite the market is the neoclassical cathedral. The local park, Cidade de Criança, is a lovely oasis of greenery where locals enjoy relaxing. Nearby is the mausoleum of President Castelo Branco, who lost his life in a plane crash in 1967. Between the park and city center is the unusual José de Alencar Theater. Named for the city's most famous writer, it's a lovely example of Art Nouveau architecture. All along the coastline of Brazil, there are the remains of fortifications built during hostilities between Dutch and Portuguese colonists. Fort Assunção is actually the second fort built on this site and dates from the late 1600s. On the streets of Fortaleza, you may just find a cure-all for any health-related complaints.
Francamente, que dinheiro esse que eu estou te cobrando? Olha, quem é que quer mais uma dose? Pode tomar. Pode tomar. Eu só queria, meu amigo, que todo dinheiro mal gasto que o senhor gastasse fosse tomando um remédio desse. Toda vida que o senhor pensasse tomar dose de pinga, tomasse uma dose do remédio desse. Para você desopilar. Se você limpando o seu organismo, você não tem mau hálito. Comida nenhuma vai lhe fazer mal. Limpa o seu intestino. Em vez de tomar cachaça, toma uma dose de remédio. No ponto de tomar. Se você chegar com esses 50 centavos que eu estou lhe cobrando ali, me dê um moinho de gás que ele já tomar. É 50 centavos. Você ainda vai ter o trabalho de fazer o chá. Tá vendo? Aqui já vai no ponto de tomar.
One of the most charming aspects of life in Fortaleza is its links to the ocean. On the beach at Volta da Carema, fishermen tend to their boats, known as jangadas. These are simple sail-driven fishing boats. The local seafood specialty is lobster, and the seafaring locals land their catch here at Volta da Carema. Next stop is Recife, whose location amidst reefs, islands, and river deltas gives it the nickname Venice of Brazil. It's the capital of the state of Pernambuco and provides rich history with contemporary hustle and bustle. In the old city, one of the most beautiful attractions is the Capela Dourada. Built in the late 17th century, the church was meant as both a religious center and as an example of their colonial pride and artistic ability. Because Recife is a capital city, government buildings stand side by side with historical ones. The courthouse and government palace are reminders of the very active part Recife played in gaining independence from Portugal. In fact, the cultural and political life of Recife are intertwined. A plaque on the lovely Teatro Santa Isabel marks it as the place where the abolition of slavery was confirmed. The Casa da Cultura is the area to visit for shopping delights. In the San Jose district, the center is definitely the square of São Pedro dos Clérigos. This is the artist quarter, watched over by the beautiful church which dominates one side of the square. One delightful aspect of Recife is that there is so much history blended with modern day-to-day life. Across one of the city's many bridges, the old city is linked to Recife Island. At the northeast corner, past skyscrapers and new homes, lies Fort Broom, completed by the Dutch in 1631. It's still an operational military establishment. If the soldiers are so disposed, they may let you wander around and see the original well and Dutch passage, which was tunneled under the water to link Fort Broom with other Recife defenses. Salvador, capital of the Brazilian state of Bahia, is located on the Bay of Saints. The city was founded in 1549 and was the first capital of Brazil. Because this northeast section of the country was the first to be heavily colonized, there are many 16th century buildings still standing. Salvador is a relaxed, friendly city where locals are ready with a smile and helpful information. Salvador is actually two cities, the lower, or Baixa, and upper, or Alta. In the lower city are the port, market, and beautiful beaches. The upper city is home to many of Salvador's most beautifully restored historical buildings. Joining the two sections is the Lacerda, an elevator which takes passengers for a 70-meter ride. In the lower city is the Mercado Modelo market. Whatever your shopping inclinations, the Mercado Modelo has the merchandise. Because Salvador is a state capital, there are the requisite government buildings. They range from the beautiful Baroque governor's palace to the old mayor's house and the contemporary new mayor's house. A trip up the Lacerda provides a magnificent overview of the city and Bay of Saints. There are many forts in and around Salvador. They were built to protect the military and commercial interests of northeast Brazil and were refortified in the 17th century when the Dutch attempted an invasion. One of the most beautifully situated is São Marcelo. Its thick walls have defended against all would-be attackers. The Church of San Francisco is one of the many Baroque period jewels of Salvadoran architecture. Nearby is the place of the pillory, a reminder of the brutal but flourishing slave trade in Brazil. Also in the upper city is the Museu Carmo, located near the convent where the Dutch finally surrendered. One fascinating local custom is the sport of capoeira, which developed from traditional foot fighting introduced by slaves from Angola.
você cai. Acaba. Primeiro você cai. Olha o pau primeiro você cai. Pelo gás você
From Upper or Lower City, the relaxed, friendly warmth of Salvador is felt throughout the streets. And the lovely Bay of Saints is the perfect vantage point to view the sparkle of evening lights. Rio de Janeiro's location on the southwest shore of Guanabara Bay is one of the world's most spectacular settings. When explorers first came upon the bay, they thought it was the mouth of a great river and erroneously christened the city Rio de Janeiro, River of January. Copacabana Beach is world famous. It has one of the highest population densities in the world, with the narrow strip of beach backed by rows of skyscrapers. Using your ship as home base is the perfect arrangement for exploring the city. There's a beautiful range of architecture, from colonial Baroque to contemporary. Maracanã Stadium is the largest soccer stadium in the world. It's no surprise that el fútbol is the national sport. The new cathedral, dedicated in 1976, blends with the modern high-rises. This unusual cone-shaped building has enormous stained glass windows and a capacity for 20,000 standing worshipers. While the Amazon basin gets most of the publicity concerning the world's rainforest, Rio has its own rainforest with an easy reach of the city. The lush vegetation and cascading waterfalls are a beautiful contrast to the fast-paced bustle of downtown. Atop Corcovado is the statue of Christ the Redeemer. Although often obscured by mist, the 90-foot statue is an incredible beacon to the city and is the national symbol of Brazil. One sight that shouldn't be missed while in Rio is a view from Pau de Açúcar, or Sugarloaf Mountain. A cable car takes you to the summit of Sugarloaf for breathtaking panoramas of Rio and its surroundings.
Saravá, meu irmão, Brasil do meu coração, eu amo você. Brasil, oh Brasil, Saravá, meu irmão.
At every turn, visitors are treated to the beauty of the city, with its botanical gardens and lively street scenes. Parliament Building is a reminder that Rio was Brazil's capital for 125 years, before the seat of government was moved to Brasilia.
Brasil, oh Brasil.
Departure from Rio leaves travelers with a desire for a speedy return to this tropical paradise of pleasure.
Brasil do meu